Welcome to another edition of 12.5 Minutes. My name is Jared Kelly. I'm with my friend and co-host Liz Whitehead.
Hi, Jared.
12.5 minutes, crazy, scary, genius, hilarious. We have some fantastic topics to talk about today, and it's all centered around the Winter Olympics.
Yay.
Yeah. To put this in a little context, I don't even know when the Winter Olympics started. I just know that it took over NBC and a lot of my television time. And I do recognize that it has been very entertaining. I'm very into sports. I'm very, very into competition. And when it comes down to it, there's been several crazy things that I've noted, and I think you've noted them as well. So give me your first thought when it comes to something that you thought was kind of crazy.
So, we should probably start with like an actual sports thing rather than what I want to talk about, which is the U.S. women's hockey team, which just went crazy during the Olympics. They had a 31 to 1 point differential throughout the Olympics and beat Canada in overtime, which is always exciting for the gold medal. So I think that is one thing that is just like that point differential is just nuts.
Absolutely. And they were not favored to win to begin with, but they were beating the other countries so badly that when you look at going like 4-0, you're running the table and you only let the other country score one goal on you. That's super impressive. So I'm surprised that the United States not only um, came away a winner of the gold, but a dominant winner. So yeah, that was super crazy.
Yeah, that was the story. They absolutely dominated. And so that was a sports thing, a women's sports thing, which is awesome. And I'm glad to talk about that. The other crazy thing I wanted to talk about was Norway has also been dominating as a nation. They have the most gold medals, the most medals in general. And one of their skiers, who I believe won a bronze in some sort of cross country skiing thing, in his post medal interview, mentioned cheating on his girlfriend,
Hmm.
right? And when I saw it, I sent it to a bunch of people and just like, this is not the way. Don't do this. I sent it to my brothers. I was like, I don't care how badly you mess up. Do not do this. She didn't ask for that.
He didn't drop her name though, did he? I don't think he,
He
he said her name.
he didn't. No, I don't think he did. But it was a kind of get her back speech. Like he wasn't just saying like it's been tough for me, and he said I hope now she realizes how much I care about her. And as everyone who saw that, including the woman, I do think the woman did eventually say, "Yeah, nah."
Right, right,
Nothing says, oh, I've turned away from my selfish ways, like making some sort of thing all about you,
right.
a relationship where you messed up. So I thought that was nuts to do on the Olympic stage as well.
That was absolutely crazy. And it's also crazy to think that if you have a great performance, fantastic. But keep your personal life out of the media, especially the global media. What's the point of that? Like that, that's very not only selfish, but it doesn't get you any brownie points for admitting that particular issue. If anything, it actually hurts your brand more. Like, why do I want to be with you? Now everyone knows you're a cheater.
Right. It sure didn't work for him. And I think, yeah, it's interesting when you talk about your personal life because we have seen the other thing, moving on to like some of the scarier things about these Olympians and what's going on with their mental health. So I do think that, like we talk, we kind of joke about things being crazy and things like that, but there really is a serious mental health issue that goes on with these Olympians, these athletes at these high levels. And so that can be, I think that's one of the scarier things that comes out of the Olympics is that just how much pressure is on these, in many times, like really young people.
Right. And they also are facing it, especially when you talk about the Olympics and the interval of timing. So you're going through this pressure for years in practice, constantly trying to be at the top of your game and competing to get to a situation where your race or your competition may just be a second or two difference between you know, elation or misery, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that is important to consider and how crazy it is, but also, we look at those individuals who also may be older, who've already competed in two or three, Olympics before, and maybe they had great success, and but now the pressure is even higher on them to perform, or they become the face of their country, and their expectations of bringing home a medal are even higher. I think that's big, and then adding all those things together and putting it in a package like Lindsey Vonn, and then you're in a high risk sport, and then you potentially get into a situation where you might have had a career ending injury, an accident. Like to me, that's an emotional roller coaster and a physical roller coaster that I think is completely overlooked and undervalued.
Yes, absolutely. It's scary it's interesting to see because I was telling my son this that I was like these people have a different mentality. You know, it's not I always think it's not just that they're good at a sport. There's lots of people that are good at these sports. You have to have that mental capacity to want to be a tenth of a second better,
Right.
right? I'm going to eat a certain way. I'm going to train a certain way to be that tenth of a second better. And I think that it's not a coincidence that that mentality can also be, can flip over into scary. Um, at the same time, I think what's really interesting, we also talked about like as we're watching this, my kids were like, how does one get into bobsled? Like, how do you start losing? Like, how do you know you're good at it? And I think one of the genius things that the geniuses behind the bobsled and things do is what starts at how do you start at bobsled, right? Like, how does it start? It doesn't start with you in the sled. It starts with you running on ice.
Right.
And so they go to track and field. Like that's how you find the people with that mentality, that discipline, that drive. And you're like, okay, you're going to do the same thing just on ice and pushing a sled. Then you just hop in.
Right. It's pretty simple if you can get all the dynamics working together as a team and get into the sled and actually make it into the sled. But I do think you're onto something there in two ways. One, being a summer Olympian, that I think that is not only a great place to start, especially in track and field, because they already have the training and the mentality, and they
Mhm.
already have some of the natural gifts. Now it becomes performance changes in terms of physicality and body weight and all that, understanding the dynamics of the mechanics, being in a mechanical instrument, in performance versus just using your own body weight, right? And then you add to that, we had this year, with the Olympics being in February, I just want to shout out some of the, fantastic, Olympians that we have presented this year that happen to be Black women because it's not a natural, um, you know, uh, transformation to go from track and field to winter sports, but as well, you don't always have the access to training facilities, or you may not never have even had access to being in ice sports, ice related
Right.
sports. So, those medalists, we have, a few, but even, you know, Erin Jackson, I think, she's not a bobsledder, she's a speed skater, but with the commercials, like bringing them to light, I think has been genius in terms of representing not only um, our Olympic athletes, but also the special, situations that bring light to the diversity of our athletes.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of I think you're absolutely right. I think that women in these Olympics, the US women are we mentioned the hockey team, but also there's a female bobsledder who's in her 40s and has two kids, like they're all moms. And and they're doing this. And like you said, the women that came from track and field that didn't have access to that. There's also one of my favorite Olympians that I just started following at his ripe old age of 44 is Nick Baumgartner, who is on the snowboarding team, and he's 44. So the other kids, and I'll call them kids, on the snowboarding team are like younger than his children.
Right.
Um, but he described one race. He's very funny to begin with, but he described one race as the most fun he ever had losing. And that until his body said no, he was going to be out there racing with those kids. And so I think that speaks to a lot of the things that we're talking about, the diversity of the people there, the mentality that you're going to go and you're going to do this thing you love and you just happen to get the training and the coaching and the access to everything to do it. And just the wild drive of these athletes is so impressive to watch.
And that diversity, whether it's um, race, gender, age, but also lifestyle too. I can't imagine. I mean, you're a parent. Imagine adding training into your schedule with all the things you have to do as a parent. So I think it's phenomenal that they've been able to make those type of commitments and then get to that level and perform with excellence. So um, that's genius. But I think the line that you said was he never had that much fun losing, or that how
Yes,
did it
he's
go?
never had that much fun losing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
th- that's hilarious. But at the same time, that might be a theme for the United States. We're doing all right though. We're doing all right in our medal count. We're
Second,
ranked ranked right now number two in terms of total medal count, and Norway is beating us with a lot of medals.
yeah, soundly. The Norwegians, they know how to cross country ski, and there's a lot of cross country skiing in the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't even know how we train for cross country skiing in the United States. I don't know how we get enough snow in one place. How do you do that? Do you just put them on a treadmill? I don't know.
I don't know, man. Maybe they go to Canada.
Oh, there you go. There's the thought. Partner up. Partner up. Yes. Can we use your countryside so that we can train the Olympics and beat you
To
guys?
beat you.
Yes. I like that. I'd like that. That's hilarious. Well, what do you think? We did it?
I think we did it.
Excellent. Well, this is another edition of 12.5 minutes. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for watching and listening to us on Spotify or on YouTube. We hope to see you and hear from you again. It's been a pleasure. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.